Hey guys, this is part 6 in my video series on my cube collection, and we're talking about 7x7's, clearly. Now, excuse me. Now this will be really short. I only have 2, as you can see. So let's get right into it. This one's my V-Cube 7x7. It's fantastic. I really like it. The turning is just like all V-Cube puzzles. It's very smooth. Very easy, very light. Does not require all that much force, although it is noticeably tighter than the 5 and the 6 V-Cubes. I believe I did shave down the clicky bumps on this one so that it would not have those. And so it's pretty smooth. It's pretty easy. It does require a little bit of force to turn on some of them, though. A little too much for finger tricks. Your hands get sore after a solve or two. It can cut corners reasonably well for a big cube. But other than that, the quality, it's typical V-Cube quality. It doesn't ever lock up, doesn't ever jam, doesn't really pop on me. It just feels very well put together and well constructed. And the turning's pretty good. And one thing that I like about this a lot is that bigger cubes tend to have a lot of issues with alignment and stability. And this is a very stable, it's a very stable puzzle. It stays in alignment pretty much on its own. When you're solving it, you don't really have to worry about it being out of alignment. It's very stable and very sturdy, which is nice when you're solving a big cube because there's a lot of layers to always have to be making sure are in alignment. So yeah, but I like it. It is a little expensive and it is a little stiff out of the box and even after it's broken in. I did originally lubricate it with Vaseline. I know that a lot of people don't like that with puzzles. They say it destroys them, but I don't really think it destroys the puzzle so much as it does eat away at the plastic a little bit. It does start to dissolve it. So if you leave it in there forever or you put it in a very complex, fragile puzzle, it might have some bad consequences. The main thing that I can see happening is it might make the puzzle a little too loose because as it eats away at the pieces that once were touching might start to have a little bit of room in between them. And so it might be loose and they might move around and stuff. But if you leave, one thing that it does do is it helps break in the puzzle faster. On most puzzles, what happens when they're being broken in is that the pieces and the parts that come into contact with each other rub against each other, and that friction causes the spots that rub together to wear down fastest. Now, when you put the Vaseline in there, it causes all of them to dissolve. So Vaseline coupled with turning the puzzle and playing with it help break it in faster and help dissolve the parts that really do rub that need to get broken in dissolved faster and broken in faster. So I have cleaned the Vaseline out of this one and re-lubricated it with Jigaloo, but I think I assembled it too quickly, so it still is a little bit gunky and it requires a little bit more force to turn than I think it should. So soon I'm going to try and take it apart, sand everything down again so it's a little bit smoother, and then lubricate it with Jigaloo, give it like 2 coats, and then let it fully dry before I reassemble it so that it is as smooth and light as possible. But all in all, it's a great cube. The turning's great. It's very stable, and it's just a very well-constructed, well-designed cube. Go V-Cube. Now this one is a knockoff of the V-Cube. I know knockoffs are bad, okay, but I have a V-Cube 7, and I have a Lan 7. Now yes, this is a Lan 7x7. I did not know they made any until I found them on Amazon from a wig seller in China. That's right. I bought this cube from somebody who sells wigs in China. For some reason, the only thing aside from wigs they have in their shop are Lan 7x7's, and so I bought one. The shipping took 2.5 weeks, and it was about 35 bucks. So it's not the shipping. I'm sorry. The puzzle was 30 or 35 bucks. So it's a little bit cheaper than the V-Cube 7, and you get what you pay for. All in all, if you're collecting puzzles, this is not a bad one to get in terms of 7x7's. The turning is pretty easy. It doesn't require much force. But as with most V-Cube knockoffs, and most knockoffs in general, the quality is just not there. So, where this one is very stable, very put together, it feels very solid. The pieces do not move around. They do not give when you squeeze the puzzle. They don't rattle. This is the opposite. You can squeeze this one, and the pieces do move. If you look, see how much it popped out on the side there? Over here? That's the pieces when I'm squeezing this layer. Watch. Yeah. It's very loose. It moves around. It's not very stable, and it's not very well manufactured. This is much higher quality, and so honestly, you get more for your money with the V-Cube. It's better designed, it's better put together. You might need to lubricate it and mod it a little bit for the turning to be quite as light as this one. But it's going to last much longer. It's much better put together. This one pops on me all the time. It locks up. This one never does either of those. This one is not awful. It really isn't. It's very light. It's very easy to turn. It's pretty darn fast. It can cut corners actually a little bit worse than the V-Cube. But it's fast. It is. It's really not bad, and it's cheaper than the V-Cube. But it locks up a lot. It pops, and you can just feel it's lower quality. So the V-Cube is much better. It's much more stable and much more sturdy and much higher quality. But the Landland 7x7 is really not bad. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but I have a full bright set from CubeSmith on here. These are not the stickers that originally came with. The stickers that originally came with, within 3 days, half the stickers were missing. Which made unstickering it really easy. But yeah, so this is not a bad puzzle. If you want variety, which on top of really just liking to collect the puzzles, I like having variety. I like being able to see, this is how the V-Cube 7 turns. This is how the Leyland 7 turns. This is how the YJ 7 turns. I don't have one yet, but I will soon. I like having that variety, and so this is not a bad one to pick up if you can find it. For $35 for a 7x7, it's really not bad. This is still better, and this is still a better value. But if you do want variety, it's not an awful puzzle. It doesn't pop to the point of being unsolvable. It just pops to the point of being pretty annoying. And it's not as high quality. But it's still, you know, a 7x7, so it's still something to solve. And it's really not that bad. And soon I would like to get the the YJ 7x7 and the Shangshao 7x7. So I'll be able to compare those to the mix too. But right now, those are my two 7s. Moral of the story is, if you're collecting, these are both worth it. But if you just want the best 7x7 you can get and the best value for money, go for the V-Cube. This is just lower quality, and it's just not as well put together. Well, thanks guys for watching, and stay tuned for part 7 of my video, which is going to be on cuboids.